Guys, Larry Kim launched Mobile Monkey in 2018, grew it to a million revenue very quickly in under a year, and then sort of flatlined for a year or two. Got down to a couple 100,000 cash in the bank and said, man, do I invest money from my last $200 million exit into this thing, or do I let the market reprice it? What he decided to do instead was go use non-dilutive capital from Founder Path, raised a couple hundred grand from us, and then eventually said he got out of this, did a Series A, and is now over 2 million in ARR for customers.ai, which he's uniquely built a language learning model powered by the early data he captured off Mobile Monkey folks, which now enables folks to basically install customers.ai and understand when somebody hits their website, what is their email, even if they don't sign up, so they can go market to those users. He's growing fast now, several customers, over 100 grand per year. Hey folks, my guest today is Larry Kim. He's the CEO of Customers.ai, the world's fastest growing B2C sales and data platform. He founded WordStream, a major AdWords and Facebook tool provider, which managed billion-dollar ad spend and was acquired by Gannett for $200 million in 2018. He's a guest lecturer at Harvard, MIT, and Boston University. Larry, you ready to take us to the top?
You got it, Nathan. Let's go.
That's awesome. So first off, people might know you from sort of Mobile Monkey in that world. To be clear, is Customers.ai a rebrand? Is it the same company? What's the story there?
It's kind of doing business as Customers AI. As we got stronger product market fit and moved away from some social tools that we started doing and focusing more on sales outreach, it made more sense to rebrand the company as Customers.ai.
And I feel like everyone is just sort of sticking AI on their companies these days for juice. So my question is there real AI happening here, or is it just like a juiced up Excel file?
Yeah, it's the biggest joke. Like, these AI companies are just like invoking ChatGPT API. I think we're significantly differentiated from that because we have our own LLM. Like we pull in all the scrape data from the customer website so that we can speak their language, if you will. And then we also have our own like proprietary data set of consumer data. So hundreds of thousands of data points on individual U.S. consumers, marital status, children, age, income, and so using these large volumes of data sets, you can leverage these AI use cases.
And so what data? I mean, when I look at proprietary LLM models, that's language learning models. For those of you not familiar with AI, Larry, I always like to understand. I think the way you get advantage, a real moat there, is if you have some unique data set used to feed your LLM model, right? So the real question to ask here is, what data set do you have that nobody else has that you use to build your LLM model?
It's the consumer data. So
how'd you get that?
Well, the first iteration of this business, Mobile Monkey, had a considerable number of users using our free software. We weren't able to monetize that successfully in terms of licensing fees, but it is installed on hundreds of thousands of pages and websites, and as an artifact of that, there's a significant amount of data that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
And so I guess, how do you use data captured from the Mobile Monkey install base to feed customers AI, which you described to me via email as, Nathan, if someone visits your website, we can tell you what their email is based off just their IP address?
So it's like 101 signals in the algorithm, correct? But at a high level, what we're doing, the way these things work is you have this publisher network, and then you do kind of device and browser fingerprinting, which is I see he has this mouse installed, or that he has a certain screen resolution, or he's using a certain IP address, or has these plugins installed. And then
wait, keep going. That's valuable. What are the other digital footprints folks are using these days? Mouse type resolution, plugins installed, screen resolution,
languages. There's lots of little things, and then you can layer on top of that a level of AI analysis to kind of really infer whether or not this is a match or not. This guy is visiting a women's clothing store in Topeka, Kansas, but it's a guy who lives in New Jersey. That doesn't really make sense. It's probably just he's a mistaken identity or something like this. So it's kind of a layer cake with different levels of data collection and analysis and so on.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right, so the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview.
Give us the backstory here. The launch of Mobile Monkey was what year?
2018.
And the rebrand to Customers AI was when?
This year, this spring.
Okay, brand new. Okay, got it. I guess take me through sort of it takes a lot of courage to basically say, hey, Mobile Monkey wasn't working. We need to sort of pivot, rebrand, etc. How did you make sure you had like capital available to get through the pivot? And, are you open to sharing sort of what revenue flatlined at before you decide to pivot, that sort of stuff?
Sure. So we went from 0 to $1 million in a very short period of time, like under a year. I thought we'd made it. This was like, so by 2019, we're a $1 million ARR company. Unfortunately, when you build in an ecosystem like a Facebook partner, you're not really master of your domain, if you will. You're kind of at the whim. You're at the whim of the, some product manager at Facebook like decides to, kill some functionality, and then, it's a double-edged sword. Like the neat thing is that you can build these products that go from 0 to $1 million in no time at all, because you're leveraging that audience, that enormous Facebook audience. The downside is you're not in charge of that. So they made some really difficult kind of policy changes, which made it difficult for me to operate that business line. It got up to about $1 million and kind of got stuck there for a while, and then the pandemic hit and we lost all our SMB customers. Like, it was a kind of a challenging time.
How low did cash balance get at the bank? Are you comfortable sharing?
So in hundreds of thousands. Now, keep in mind, like, I'm independently wealthy, so I can, put in as much money into this as I want to. The challenge is, it's like you really do want to have like a neutral person putting that in to price these rounds, and so it got down to a couple $100,000 at one point. But the story is that around the 2-year mark into this journey, we realized that this was not a great partnership with Facebook in terms of like all the changes that they were making, and what our customers wanted to do, and we decided to kind of do this sales outreach automation kind of use case for B2C. So the same types of customers who are spending money on ads, would they be interested in this new offering of IDing website visitors and providing that email and contact information to the website owners and doing sales outreach to them? I mean, the technology is kind of similar to the automation that you would put into a chatbot. So it's still our same, drag and drop, boxes and arrows kind of user interface for doing step 1, step 2, step 3, like a sequence of automations. But instead of sending out messages on Facebook Messenger and Instagram Messenger, it's just emailing. We were pulling in the data through various different ways, and that's hard to do, as you alluded to. It's usually the case that you swing at something, you miss, and then the company goes down in flames. It's rare that you're able to, like, these pivots, they almost never work. And
well, we'll talk about this though, because you decided at this moment, I think it was in 2020, 2021, to go look at options like non-dilutive financing. Help me. I mean, you're independently wealthy. Someone listening might be going, why was Larry looking for non-dilutive options when he's already rich? Help me understand that thinking.
It's what I described to you before. There's the like, how does it get priced is the question. Like, do I want to make this really, really punitive and, like, do a down round, or do I want to do this as a convertible note? There's just different ways to finance a business, or do my existing investors, like what would they price it in? So, like, there's all sorts of.
How bad was it when you had flatlined at $1 million and you looked at equity term sheets? What valuation cut were you looking at?
I hadn't even tested the market. I was kind of concerned that this was a tweener, like not quite a failure, but not quite a Series A type business. I just needed more runway, and so through a combination of myself putting in, going with FounderPath for when I was non-dilutive. Initially, it was about a $400K loan. We had over $1 million in revenue, so that's $400K is like less than 40% of a month's of ARR. And then I put in an equal amount of capital in just to gross that up a little bit, and that provided almost a full year of time to fully develop and show progress against this new ICP and new use case, and growing the business to over 2 million in revenue, and getting a lot of interest in the business from investors, and eventually doing our Series A.
So what did you do? Did you pay? Well, first off, I want to learn here because I'm obviously running FounderPath. But what did you? And you can be directly and blatantly honest here too. What are some things you maybe disliked about the FounderPath model, and what are things that you maybe liked about it?
Okay, so it's easier to talk about the things that I'm excited about. The FounderPath model, it's like you just connect your Stripe or your Recurly, your Bank of America, and, your QuickBooks. Oh my God, they give you a score. Like I wish all VCs were like that. Like you have to go on these all sorts of meetings and flying everywhere, and you don't know where things are going. Like so what a brush for sure that is to just have a very quick and dispassionate view and score of your business. And I think the first time that we did this, it was like you were able to get it done in like 5 business days or something like that, like from start to end. So that's amazing.
I'm going to force you to say something you didn't like. If you had to pick the thing that you liked the least, maybe you didn't hate it, but the thing you liked the least about the process or the model or whatever the term is, what would it be?
I mean, the rate was high. Like it's like credit card rates kind of things, but keep in mind it's like unsecured debt. Like this is like so I understand why it's that way. And in fact, interest rates are so high right now. It makes sense. And look, I think if you think about where we were able to get on that runway and what the alternative would have been, I think that this is a no-brainer. That this generated an incredible outcome. Probably tens of millions in enterprise valuation, and significantly a better outcome than the call it tens of thousands of dollars of interest that I paid over a period of under a year.
And so what did you do I actually don't know this off the top of my head. When you raised the Series A, did you pay us off earlier, or do we still have capital out with you?
So we did pay off the loan. It didn't make sense to have $5 million in the bank making 4% in the bank or whatever, and meanwhile paying out the interest on a couple.
How was that process? Was it easy to pay off early, or?
That was 2 emails to your collaborators and then just wiring the.
All right, enough about us. Back to you. So you come out of this thing, you add $1 million in ARR. Was that, and so you pivot to customers at AI and you add an extra $1 million in ARR?
And then adding customers, understanding the use case better, and still using the old business to pay the bills and stuff like this, but really growing this sales outreach automation use case. And also AI, which is super transformative use cases, and moving up market, and eventually getting financing done.
Yeah, no, that makes tons of sense. So just to be clear, that when did you break that 2 million ARR mark? Was that this year or last year?
Last year, yeah.
Last year, amazing. And what are you targeting to end this year at?
We'll call it mid to high single-digit millions in ARR.
Wow. Okay, so to call maybe 5 to 7, something like that.
Yeah, that range.
Yeah, that's incredible. Are you burning through the Series A fast, or are you doing this in a pretty unit economical positive way?
I think that there's we did a calculation that there's over 2 years of runway.
Right.
I think emphatically yes. The climate is not one where you can just spend like drunken sailors and assume that there's going to be someone willing to bail you out at the end of that. You need to think about your efficiency numbers, and there's various numbers, but burn to ARR, it's below 1 last month. So
that's amazing. So just to be clear, when you do burn to ARR, you're taking the net burn from July multiplied by 12 and then dividing that into your total ARR, and that's under 1.
Do you do ARR to burn or burn to ARR? Which one do you do?
People do both. It's it's just as long as you understand the relationship.
Sure. Yeah, it's we're burning less than $1 for every net dollar of ARR being added, which if you believe David
that's great.
Sachs or whatever that guy says something, we never see that, he says.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I guess, can you flesh out the team for me? How many folks are full-time today?
40 people.
Wow. Okay. And how many engineers?
It's about a third of the team, so 15.
Okay. Are you coding still?
No, you start, of course, you write the software for your prototype and your version 1, but you have to do other things as a CEO.
That's great. Did you, in terms of the Series A, again, you aren't independently wealthy, but you did want the market to price the thing. Was that really why you did it? I mean, because you obviously wouldn't take the 15 or whatever it was percent dilution if you didn't need to.
A part of this was also that it was so easy, right? So venture debt wasn't even on my radar, okay? Because I've done that before, and it's, there's warrants, there's, it's hard. And
you did that with like a traditional bank or something.
Yeah, like Square One Bank or something like that. You know,
how long did that take? 3, 2, 3. How long did it take?
Months. Months. Yeah. And then they want to meet the founder, and they want to like look at all your books and everything. Like, so it's just like slightly less painful than doing a bona fide like venture round. So like, the reality is that like none of this was even like occupying any mind space. Like, but I met you at that growth market conference in Toronto, and I've been following you, and I think I'm on your list. And so you emailed me some information about your product, and I was like, okay, what the heck? I'll just just give this a try. And it was more like I wouldn't say that I had like a thesis going into trying out your financing product, but rather I was convinced that this is such an easy no-brainer to go after at this time. I don't have to have any conversations about how to finance a business. Like, this is a pretty simple strategy, and so that's what we ended up.
Before you came out of the valley, right, the trough, right after the pivot, Larry, if you had raised an equity round while you were in the valley, how dilutive do you think that probably would have been if you had to guess? How much of the company do you think you would have to give up? Well,
traditionally those are recaps, like what you're describing, and it would be it's whatever the inside investors would be willing to pay for. Like, the idea that you just can't run out of gas in between gas stations is basically the problem. Now, it's kind of an unusual situation because like I said, I do have money, so probably I could have defended the common by putting in, which I did, and I have done that at every round of investment, since inception of the company.
That's awesome. Well, listen, we're certainly rooting for you. I guess before we wrap up, again, people can check Larry out at customers.ai. Larry, how many customers are paying for the software today?
It's in the hundreds. Okay. Well, we've got different products ranging from ASPs of like $7 to tens of thousands of dollars
per year.
But for our ICP customers that we're really focused on, it's in the mid hundreds, and then we have these like over 1,000 of these other kind of self sign up customers. Like, you can't stop them from buying your thing. So.
No, that's not a bad thing to have going for you. What is don't obviously name the customer, but if you just look at the customer AI product, what's the largest customer paying you per year today? Do you have anyone over 100 grand per year?
There are more than one.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we're rooting for you, man. Thanks for coming on. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, your favorite book.
How about 0 to 1?
There you go. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Well, it would have been Brian Halligan, who of HubSpot, who is a legendary in the space, and is now the chairman of the board of HubSpot.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building customers AI besides your own?
AutoGPT.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
It's a difficult time right now. It's very little, like 6-7 hours.
Okay, and situation there, married, single, kids?
I have 2 boys, and they're kindergarten and grade 3, and I'm married.
That's awesome. And how old are you?
I'm 44.
44. We had to check. Last question, Larry. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
I think it has to do with going after bigger opportunities. So, my last business was like an ad management tool Why? Because I just happen to know a little bit about, you know, managing ads. But, in theory, you could have leveraged those skills and ability to create any kind of business at all, and I think we're doing that with customers AI. So what we're talking about here is like we're providing the leads and the tools. You see what I'm saying? Which so WordStream was like a kind of a management tool. They would spend $500 with us for the tool expense, but then they would spend $10,000 on leads through Google and Facebook. So our share of wallet was smaller, more modest. Here we're providing the tools and also the lead data, which is I think a much more interesting value prop. And I wish I knew that 20 years ago.
Guys, Larry Kim launched Mobile Monkey in 2018, grew it to $1 million revenue very quickly in under a year, and then sort of flatlined for a year or two. Got down to a couple $100,000 cash in the bank and said, man, do I invest money from my last $200 million exit into this thing, or do I let the market reprice it? What he decided to do instead was go use non-dilutive capital from Founder Path, raised a couple $100,000 from us, and then eventually said he got out of this, did his Series A, and is now over $2 million in ARR for customers.ai, which he's uniquely built a language learning model powered by the early data he captured off Mobile Monkey folks, which now enables folks to basically install customers.ai and understand when somebody hits their website, what is their email, even if they don't sign up, so they can go market to those users. He's growing fast now, several customers, over $100,000 per year, having a lot of fun doing it. You can tell from the smile on his face. Larry, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks, David.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them, and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.